Alerting you now. Welcome back here at 8:30 here at Fox and Friends. Latest on the Iran deal right now is the United States about to give away too much. So on the table, we're in the countdown. We're joined by Senator Lindsey Graham right now. Under 24 hours before this deal is set to be set forward, right. And Iran had originally put one of the arms of this deal was that they were going to throw some of their stockpile over to Russia. You know, take it away so it can't be used.
We trust those guys.
Which would have been a great place to put any nuclear material in.
On top of limiting centrifuges and, increased inspections. But that one part of this deal sort of throwing a wrench into it all. What do you see in this move?
Well, the 2006 Security Council resolution said stop enriching at the UN and remove all highly enriched uranium. We're to the left of that. So my concern is that the deal is going to be a bad deal. And Ben Rhodes said, well, those who want to stop a deal want a war. Ben, I don't want a war. I don't want a bad deal that leads to a nuclear arms race and eventually a nuclear war. So a bad deal, one that gives Iran thousands of centrifuges, keeps them within a year of having a nuclear bomb, will spur the Arabs on to get their own nuclear weapons. So what they don't get is that a bad deal puts Israel at risk existentially, and the Arabs will respond in kind, starting a nuclear arms race. So we're on the verge of a nuclear arms race in the Mideast because of a bad deal.
Critics point to North Korea for historical accuracy on this.
People negotiating this deal negotiated North Korea.
Exactly.
Same exact people.
And some of the things that came out of that were inspectors kicked out of North Korea, stockpiles kept in that country, and we all know what happened with North Korea. And critics say, can we trust? It comes down to the level of trust.
Well, the Iranians are liars. They have been cheating. The two enrichment facilities they're going to be allowed to enrich in, we found by accident. So at the end of the day, they are trying to build a nuclear weapon. They have been for 20 years. And we're about to lock in place a program that will give them thousands of centrifuges, highly enriched material that could be used for a dirty bomb if the deal is coming out as billed. So the Arabs are not going to accept this. Please understand this. Sunni Arabs are not going to allow us to have a threshold nation in Iran, Shia Persians, hanging a nuclear weapon over their heads. So we're about to start a nuclear arms race with a bad deal.
All right. Well, let's hope that at the last minute they say, you know what, this is a stinker. We're walking away.
Congress is going to vote on this deal. There's a debate in the White House. We're going to vote. There'll be a bipartisan vote in April requiring any deal to come to Congress for an up or down approval vote. That is an absolute must for me.
All right. Let's switch gears. The Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which was passed by our Congress back in 1993, created a right so that people can practice their own religion. And famously in the last year or two, the Hobby Lobby case, which said that family should not have to provide contraception because they did not believe in. Well, that is being spun by the mainstream media as it's discriminatory against gays and others. When you look at the mainstream media, the big three networks' coverage, look at this. They covered it 25 minutes and 30 seconds just on Saturday and Sunday, just those 2 days. Mike Pence was sitting down with George Stephanopoulos, who was trying to present this as it's anti-gay, it's discriminatory. He would have none of it. Here's the governor of Indiana.
Is tolerance a two-way street or not? I mean, there's a lot of talk about tolerance in this country today having to do with people on the left. But here Indiana steps forward to protect the constitutional rights and privileges of freedom of religion for people of faith and families of faith in our state. And this avalanche of intolerance that's been poured on our state is just outrageous. And I'm not going to take it lying down.
What's your take?
What do you think?
Well, I think that Indiana has a Republican governor who's been a good conservative, and the law in Indiana is not materially different than the law in Illinois or any other place. And they're trying to create an issue here for Indiana. Go to Illinois and look at the law.
Yeah, 20 other states have similar.
This is, to me, a politically driven process to pick on Mike Pence in Indiana to create an issue that's not an issue in the other states with the same law.
If you got a problem, if you have a problem with it, pick on Hillary Clinton because her husband, Bill Clinton, signed this bill.
It is what it is, folks.
Right.
We understand there are laws like this all over the country. They're picking on Mike Pence, who's been a great conservative governor. The people in Indiana will figure out how to deal with this. But this is a good example of the difference between it being a Republican and a Democrat on the three major networks.
And here you go, 2016 starting to heat up. We're getting some news as to whether or not we saw Ted Cruz, of course, came out officially announced.
A week ago.
And then Marco Rubio, he's going to be on the 5 today. He's going to be sitting down on the 5 this afternoon.
The report saying that he could be announcing mid-April.
What would that
Unless
do to
they
Jeb
kill
Bush?
him on that show.
Unless they dive in.
They're tough.
We don't
They're
know.
very tough.
But what do you make of the 2016 race starting to heat up right now? Jeb Bush not in it officially yet, but the field being laid out.
Well, I think Hillary Clinton is the third term of Barack Obama, and she's going to have a hard time saying I'm anything new. Her fingerprints are all over this failed foreign policy. What would you say about any deal with Iran? She and Bill sold Hillary Care. I mean, excuse me. Oh, that's a good line. Obamacare.
Write that down.
Better than Barack Obama. On the Republican side, a wide and deep bench for the first time in a long time.
Are you going to run?
Probably in May I'll make that decision. More likely than not, because the next president of the United States needs to figure one thing out quickly: how to be commander-in-chief, and I think I could do that.
Sure. Of course, to run for president, you need a lot. You need a lot of money.
We need a lot of money, so if you want to send some money to Lindsey Graham, securitythroughstrength.com, we will take your money.
We got a collection
Unless you're
basket.
a terrorist and an Iranian, we will not take your money.
All right. Well, that's good to know. All right, Senator, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Senator.
Great to see you.